beautiful morning it is in Wiesbaden. One of the things I wanted to do coming right out of the hour is I want to talk to you about something we do once a month, and it is to recognize volunteers in our community. And as I've said at many events and to many individuals who we have presented awards, we could not do what we do at the Garrison without our volunteer base. I mean, we've got volunteers all over the place, from the Red Cross to organizations like the USO to the Tax Center. We'll talk about that a little later. I mean, literally saves the community millions of dollars each year in labor costs and allows us to take that money and do other things with it. There are some fantastic volunteers out there, and we're going to recognize one of them on air right now.
We do like recognizing people on air.
Yes, and so one of our great volunteers is AFN's own Sergeant First Class Daniel Carr. So, Sergeant Carr, welcome to the studio. I know that you've been going through a little some personal challenges with some medical stuff, but we are glad to have you in at the studio this morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much, sir.
Good. So, Sergeant Carr, in addition to everything that you've been doing with AFN, what some people do not necessarily know is that he spends all of his off time helping his significantly better half, Kim Carr, who is the award-winning producer-director at the Amelia Earhart Playhouse, revamping, redoing pretty much anything Kim tells him to do at the Amelia Earhart Playhouse. And what that has included is a remarkable changeover at the Amelia Earhart that has really brought that theater, I'd say, into the next century. It's got a really nice look to it, almost a New York theater style look. And Sergeant Carr, as I am told, you're kind of the mastermind behind putting that together.
Well, I don't know mastermind. I know I've had a lot of help along the way. Basically, all I did is put together and help my wife realize her vision for the theater. And we've had a lot of help with Kevin Ringgold and everything he's done for us, as well as Joe Bednash, and as well as all the volunteers at the Amelia Earhart. They've all pitched in.
Well, Sergeant Carr, I appreciate that, and I'm sure your wife appreciates the call out as well. We have Kim in the studio with us today. We're going to do two things. What I want to do, first of all, is I'm presenting you a certificate of appreciation from the Garrison. It says, for superior customer service, as recognized by members of the U.S. Army Garrison Wiesbaden Customer Service Award Board. Your contributions towards the Garrison Commander's goal to provide the best customer service in Europe are highly commended. Your actions reflect great credit upon you, the Wiesbaden community, and the United States Army Garrison Wiesbaden. Signed, May. So, Sergeant Carr, there you go. Certificate of appreciation for your hard work as a volunteer.
Thank you very much, sir.
At the Amelia Earhart Playhouse. Well done. And since we can put in an unsolicited plug for the Amelia Earhart, what do we have coming up in the Amelia Earhart?
Actually, coming up is Agnes of God. Let's bring the lady who's responsible for all of this. We have Agnes of God coming up. It opens on February 20th, and Mr. Brian Buckley is our director for it. It's a great show. If I may say, it's an amazing set as well. And it's in our great new space, so people need to come on out. And you can actually get tickets online. If you go through the MWR online way, you can go ahead and purchase your tickets. Pick the night you want to see the show. It runs until March 8th. And the days are Thursday through Saturday, and curtain is at 8 p.m.
Okay, so if anybody's not familiar with Agnes of God, a very powerful play, and was a great movie with Jane Fonda and, was it Tilly?
Anne Bancroft.
Yeah, Anne Bancroft. Yeah, a very, very powerful show about a young nun who wrestles with birth and some of the arguments about where that child came from. I won't spoil the plot, but it was a wonderful movie, wonderful play, and I'm sure it'll be fantastic at the Amelia Earhart. So, Sergeant Carr, again, recognizing you for your volunteer service out there at the Amelia Earhart, everything you do with every set that comes up, as well as kind of the makeover we've done at the Amelia Earhart. And as I am fond of doing, as we recognize great people on the air, we got a special shout-out to you music-wise, a little AC/DC coming at you. For those about to rock, and Sergeant Carr, we salute you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, it ended a little abruptly there.
Very abrupt end.
Well, you took the cannons out of that, so a little ACDC. For those about to rock, we salute you, and that's going out to our volunteers, and specifically this morning, if you didn't hear before the musical break, of that great rock and roll song from ACDC to Sergeant First Class Dan Carr, who, in addition to what he's done for AFN, has been an amazing help at the Amelia Earhart Playhouse, and with some great volunteer work on stages, and pretty much everything they do there at the Amelia Earhart. So to Sergeant Carr, we salute you. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Sergeant Carr.
Hey, so we're so we got a few questions that have rolled in out there on the Talk to the Commander show. But if you want to get questions in by either by Facebook or phone, what do you do?
Facebook.com/AFN Wiesbaden. There's a photo of you, sir, there in the post. Just leave them in the comments, or you can always call 0611-705-5103, DSN 337-5103.
Yeah, don't be scared off by the picture. And the general reminder is if you're going to call in during the music, right?
Correct,
right.
yes.
Because we're all working right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how about we start off with some good news?
Okay. What's the good news, sir?
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm frequently asked about is parking.
So this is not bad news.
This is not bad news. This is good news. This is rocking good news. And we're going to celebrate this good news with a great upbeat, up-tempo musical hit here in a minute. But one of the things that people call in about is about short-term parking. Why can't we get more short-term parking around the post office, the Welcome Center, and the Fitness Center? Three of our most high-density customer service areas in the community, and we're bringing it to you. So starting on Monday, 10 February, in fact, you'll see the signs up today, but enforcement will begin on Monday, 10 February. We are bringing more short-term parking to those high-density areas. So let me give you a snapshot. So at the post office, right now we have 33 short-term spots of the 30-minute variety, and we have added an additional 30 short-term spots of the 1 hour variety. So a total of 63 short-term spots. About half of those 30-minute, half of those 1 hour. All right?
And that's at the post office.
That's right. Yeah, that's at the post office starting Monday. Welcome Center and all the great services that are offered there, from legal to everything our Director of Human Resources does, ID cards, passports, etc. At the Welcome Center. Currently, we have 40 spots of the 2 hour variety, but the 2 hour variety, quite frankly, just a little too long. Most people that go in there are going in there for a much shorter period of time, and so what we've done is we have backed off those 2 hour spots to 1 hour, so we're going to maintain 40 spots, but of the 1 hour variety, and we're adding 78 spots of the 2 hour variety. So over 100 timed parking spots at the Welcome Center. 40 will be 1 hour, 78 2 hour. And at the Fitness Center, we had 30 of the 3 hour spots. Now, even for those that are working out a little longer, we found that 3 hour reserve spot was too long, especially since what a lot of people were doing was parking their cars there, going to work, and then coming out 3 hours later and changing their parking shine. So we have dropped those 30 spots down to 2 hours. And we have added 134 2-hour spots at the Fitness Center. So about 164 total 2-hour parking spots at the Fitness Center. And that will be starting Monday, 10 February.
I got to say, sir, we talked about this, 2 weeks ago when you came in?
Yeah.
And you said it was in the works. I didn't think it was, no offense. And
Sure.
That's a quick turnaround to get that many spots put out to the community.
Yeah, no, huge. And and first heard on AFN, as we do a lot, we will be rolling out messages all day today via Facebook, through our Public Affairs Office, through our DPTMS, to the commanders, Command Sergeants Major. But again, enforcement will begin on Monday. It was something that we wanted to do, in the spring as we geared up for the summer PCS season. But quite frankly, our Director of Public Works, working at lightning speed, was able to put a lot of this signage together and get the plan ready. And we figured let's go ahead and execute early. So we're going to unleash this on Monday.
Very cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, short-term parking, sir.
Yeah.
You're creating all these short-term. You said 138 new spots.
Yeah. Well, if you take a look at all the spots we're adding, it's well over 220 new short-term spots. Yeah.
What's the plan for the long term? What's the plan for people that are going to work?
Well, that's a good question. But we got plenty of long-term parking. And so in addition to the 1,100 space deck we currently have, which by the way, if you go by that parking deck today during, say, 10 o'clock, when everybody's at work, no one's taking off for lunch, you're going to find it about half empty. We've got another 600 space deck that is opening up right next to that one later this spring, early summer. And so that will give us a combined 1,700 longer-term spaces on the concern for those that need to park throughout the day. And guess what? In the March-April timeframe, we begin on another 300 space deck right across from Fifth Signal Command. So as you're driving through the main gate, if you look to the left, there's that old motor pool area to the left, which some people are starting to park in. And that is going to a 300 space deck is going right up in that area. So we have got plenty of parking. We do now, and we're going to have more later. Part of it is anticipation of the Consolidated Intel Center, which will be opening up right next to the Shalley Center. Bring several hundred soldiers from the Dagger, allow them to work here on Clay Concern. They're going to need parking. And so that is what that new deck is going to support. We have plenty of parking today. And we're certainly going to have more tomorrow. So that's the good news on long-term parking.
That is good news.
Yeah.
We usually don't get
1,700.
Yeah, we usually don't get good news with parking.
Yeah.
It's usually doom and gloom.
Yeah. No. We have some good news. So let's celebrate, huh?
Yeah.
How about a little musical interlude?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So if you got to get pumped up, the Stones are one of those groups that can help you get pumped up.
Let me just remind our listeners real quick, sir. Facebook.com/AFN Wiesbaden. Leave a question or comment for the commander, and we'll see if we can answer it live on the air.
All right.
Now. Would you like to do the honors?
Little Stones coming at you. Start me up.
Start me up, Rolling Stones, right here on the Eagle, serving America's best. Good morning to you, Wiesbaden. Real quick, before we get back to the commander, let me put out a quick traffic update. On the A3, Würzburg to Frankfurt, between Hanau and Frankfurt Süd, there's 15 kilometers of stop-and-go traffic. On the A60, Mainz to Bingen, between Kreuz-Mainz-Süd and Mainz-Finten, there's an accident out there in the right-hand lane causing 4 kilometers of Stau. And on the Mainz to Alzey, A63, between Kleins-Winternheim and Nieder-Ulm-Nord, there's some construction out there in the left-hand lane causing a little bit of traffic. And back to the commander.
Well, that's some ugly Stau out there.
Stau.
Yeah, that is bad. In addition to some of the traffic challenges, of course, it is just different driving here in Europe, both with speeds and what our community is used to in terms of driving back in the States. With the traffic and with the new rules and regulations that Americans are not used to, comes some problems related to traffic accidents. So, and we do have a significant problem here in the community. So right now in the first quarter, we just did our community safety council last week, and in the first quarter of FY14, we had 141, yes, 141 traffic accidents reported to the MPs, which is a 20% increase over the first quarter of last year.
Wow.
That's pretty bad. Now, unlike last year, I don't think we can attribute these accidents to the bad weather.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Perfect weather.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good weather out there. Perhaps a little limited visibility, but certainly not the slippery roads. And believe it or not, the majority of these accidents, about 64% of them, have been occurring off-post. And what troubles me most is that community members were at fault for about 70% of these accidents.
Sheesh.
So a lot of it's attributed to driving too close. A lot of it's attributed to unsafe backing, failure to yield the right of way, and also I think I talked about this during a previous talk to the Commander show. Several instances of fleeing the scene. So if you're fleeing the scene of an accident in Europe, particularly in the era of iPhone cameras and technology, that's about the silliest thing you can do, because somebody is going to snap your plates, and guess what? It's coming right back here to U.S. Army Garrison Wiesbaden. So, so just a reminder to everybody: watch out. Accidents are on the increase. You know, if there's a bright side of this, some of the accidents that have been occurring in the parking lots of the post exchange, the commissary, the parking decks are down. You know, we've been on a bit of a communication campaign about that, so that's wonderful. But now these accidents have moved to off-post, and probably the number one thing that anybody can do to avoid these accidents, in addition to just being aware, is take more time. I mean, if you're planning on going someplace and you're driving in from either off-post or one of our Army family housing areas that is not on Clay Caserne, just add an extra 5 minutes. I mean, what does that cost you?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. 141 accidents, 20% increase over the first quarter of FY13. Getting ready to communicate that out to commanders, command sergeants, majors here within the next couple of days for their awareness. And, you know, the other thing that's on the increase is DUIs. So driving under the influence, driving while impaired cases, we are right now double the number of DUI, DWI incidents we had in fourth quarter of FY13, and about 7 of these cases within the last couple of months took place 200 meters from our gates here on Clay Caserne. So we often talk about the policy that is out there keeping an eye out on our safety. Guess what? Our military police are as well. So if you think you are going to work your way through the policy nets out there only to be able to drive on post, you are sadly mistaken. Our military police highly trained in identifying possible cases, and they are getting the job done and keeping us safe. So DUIs, DWIs on the increase, and I say this because what's coming up in March? We've got the Fasching season, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so very high celebratory season. Here in Germany, when people like to get out, enjoy themselves, and sadly some of that enjoying yourself could be the overindulgence of alcohol. And if you're going to do that, that's okay. Just don't drive.
You know, and we have one of the best public transportation systems in the world here in Germany.
We do indeed, and so all you got to do is go to www.wiesbaden.army.mil. Go to the public transportation site on there. If you are unfamiliar with SVA, the public bus system, they have increased the number of lines, increased the time at which those lines run, and getting on an SVA bus is pretty darn easy. Whether you're traveling from our Army family housing areas, Alcom, Crestview, Heinerberg, whether you're coming out of Newman Village and Clay Caserne, easy to pick up the bus, easy to get downtown. Let somebody else take the risk. Well, there is no risk because you're driving public transportation.
Right.
Go enjoy yourself and come back, leave the car behind.
That's right. Really no excuse for DUIs. No excuse to flee a scene.
And by the way, you don't have to pay for parking downtown, which if you parked downtown recently, I mean, it costs, you can take that money from parking and, buy yourself half a meal with what you pay on parking. So leave your car behind.
Good advice. Leave your car behind.
So, a little music? What
Let's
do you think?
do it.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to send a question into the commander, what do they need to do?
Facebook.com/AFN Wiesbaden. Right there, main page. Leave a comment for the commander or give us a call here in the studio, 0611-705-5103 or DSN 337-5103.
Sergeant Klene and I, all we're going to be doing during the break is hanging out, bashing Sergeant Alexander, who is interviewing somebody in Studio 2, and there's a call coming in. We'll take that. So, little Don Henley coming at you.
All she wants to do is dance. All she wants to do is dance. Don Henley, right here on the Eagle. Time now 8:43, and with me, Wiesbaden Garrison Commander Colonel Carstens.
Sergeant Klene, glad to be here with you, and Don Henley and Eagle being played on the Eagle. Mm-hmm. Boy, isn't that great? I'm a little fond of the Eagles. Do you like the Eagles?
I do like the Eagles. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah,
I like the Eagles.
Joe Walsh, another great Eagle, Kent State University grad. So my alma mater. Joe Walsh used to come back to Kent State, and I don't know if he got an honorary degree from Kent State. I know he attended Kent State for several years. I think he didn't graduate the first time, probably due to his extracurricular activities. But he played a lot of groups with a lot of groups in the Cleveland area. The Measles, you probably don't remember that group anyways. So, so Joe Walsh, Kent State, Don Henley, another great Eagle. But if you've ever seen the Eagles in concert, great group. That was a Don Henley single and one of my personal favorites. We had a caller.
We did.
Come in at the break, and that was a lengthy call too, but glad we had it. So a sergeant called in. He and his family live in Crestview, and one of the things he wanted to comment on was Super Bowl Sunday. The MPs and the Polizei were out checking car doors, and in some instances, if the doors were open, they were actually opening them up and looking inside. Just a reminder to our community, most of our Army family housing, about 80% of it is not on Clay Caserne, right? So about 80% of our Army family housing in the Crestview, Heinerberg, and Alcom areas, and those are still German streets. They are joint patrolled by both the Polizei and the military police. I mean, on any given day, you might see more Polizei out there than you do MPs, particularly around our schools, and they're doing a great job working together, keeping the community safe. But, one of the things they do is they do dismount. They do look at vehicles. They do want to make sure people are doing the right thing in terms of keeping vehicles locked, keeping stairwells locked, etc. While the crime rate is low in Wiesbaden, there still is crime. I mean, Wiesbaden is one of the 3 safest cities in Germany in terms of pick your flavor of crime, from petty theft to violent crime, and but it does happen, and where it happens is when we put ourselves at risk, either being by ourselves downtown late at night when we're probably in areas we shouldn't be, or even within our Army family housing areas, leaving our cars open, leaving valuables in plain view, and leaving the common area stairwell doors open. So lock them up. I mean, it's the best thing you can do to prevent theft and crime.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, so we talked a little bit about parking at the top of the hour, right? Mm-hmm. That we're unleashing about 220 new short-term parking spaces across Clay Caserne, with primary focus on the post office, primary focus on the Welcome Center, 1023, primary focus on the fitness center, and that will be beginning on Monday. And so expect a media barrage today via Facebook and Public Affairs and through our DPTMS office. That's the good news. We talked a little bit of bad news as it relates to some of the traffic accidents that we're having.
Right.
So we got a huge increase of traffic accidents in the community. This quarter, we are double. We've had a 20% increase over the first quarter in terms of traffic accidents. And so we've got about 141 traffic accidents so far, and also DUIs, double.
Is that this quarter?
Yeah, 141. In the first quarter of FY14, we had 141 traffic accidents.
That's outrageous.
Yeah, and in DUIs, double. We've had 8 so far, which is double from where we were at in the last quarter. And so some bad news as it relates to both traffic accidents and DUIs. So the MPs are out there, the Polizei is out there. So take a little extra time. Take public transportation if you're going to be partying. But let's go back to some news in the community. One of the things that I had the pleasure of opening up earlier this week was the tax center. Where do you do your taxes at?
I do mine at the tax center.
Yeah. And how much does that cost you?
$0.
$0 for the bargain basement price of $0. You can go to the tax center, which opened up on 4 February, and you get your taxes done. And they do a dynamic job. And I don't care if you're doing the easy form. I don't care if you're itemizing deductions. Whatever your thing is, they can help you out. A lot of people think that the tax center is manned by inexperienced volunteers. Not true. Now, there are soldiers assigned down there, but there's just as many tax lawyers down there that are getting it done and supervising the process. And so, I talked about volunteers. We recognize Sergeant Carr for his volunteer services, but there are volunteers all over the place, and a bunch of them are at the tax center. They literally save the community millions of dollars each year, both in tax processing and getting returns to the community quickly. So, tax center at the Tony Bass, same old place, and opened up on 4 February. If you got questions or you want to set up an appointment, whatever it is, DSN 337-4725, DSN 337-4725. Captain Herman in charge of the tax center, doing a great job with his team down there. And go get your taxes done.
Absolutely.
Because it's free.
I don't know about you, sir, but I'm in the tax bracket where I get a little bit of money back.
Yeah.
Get a little check.
Way to throw that out there.
Yeah.
Just letting everybody know.
Yeah.
I'm sure most people like me around my rank or so, or below, they're definitely counting on that check at the end of the year or the beginning of the year. I had planned on doing my taxes, do TurboTax. Wife said no. Go down to the tax center.
Yeah.
They found something in there. I don't know what they found. I mean, I'm not a tax lawyer. I couldn't tell you.
Sure.
More money.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm in the tax bracket pretty much where Uncle Sam pins me to the ground and beats me over the head with a surfboard for about 5 minutes.
In that case, you definitely need to go get a professional to handle
right.
taxes.
Yeah, no, indeed. I could use some help. If they could find some magic for me down there, I'm all for it. But I don't think any's coming. but that's all right. Paying taxes is part of what we do, and it helps give back to the government. So no issues there. And I'm sticking to it. Hey, so the phone is ringing off the hook. So the magic piece of this is if you got questions, right?
Call during the music.
Call during the music. But the phone is going off at full speed. You want to take one music break, come back for a couple questions,
Absolutely.
and then we'll wrap it up.
All right, let's do it.
All right, little poison.